Welcome, everyone, to Talk That Talk. I'm going to go over the schedule for Talk That Talk. Carbondale United Mission Statement, how to use the Q&A and chat, Alpha Phi Alpha Mission Statement, video from Alfred McGowan. We have five wonderful speakers for you today. There will be a Q&A after each speaker. After each Q&A, there will be a prize giveaway. Names will be drawn from the Zoom registration. Winners will be contacted via email to arrange for prize pickup. Carbondale United mission to provide an avenue of healing and community safety through awareness, education, and activism. Our goals are to eliminate gun violence and racism from our neighborhoods and to provide events that are inclusive and diverse. To stay in touch with us, you can reach us at facebook.com/ create a better community 15 or by email carbondaleunited15@gmail.com. Have a question? To submit a question, use the Zoom Q&A. To submit your question anonymously, select the Send Anonymously button option or comment on the Facebook live stream. You can also use Zoom chat to talk to the panelists and other attendees. Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Inc. First of all, servants of all, we shall transcend all. Transcend all. Mission statement develops leaders, promotes brotherhood and academic excellence while providing services and advocacy for our communities. Founding date December 4th, 1906. And now I'll turn it over to our host and master of ceremony, Matthew Wilson.
Good evening to my community of Southern Illinois. My name is Matt Wilson, and I'm a proud brother of the Mu Kappa Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Our mission statement develops leaders, promotes brotherhood and academic excellence while providing service and advocacy for our communities. And what brings us here today is the element of service. One of our national programs that our fraternity offers is Go to High School, Go to College. The program, established in 1922, concentrates on the importance of completing secondary and collegiate education as a road to advancement. Through the Go to High School, Go to College educational initiative, young men receive information and learn strategies that facilitate success. In designing a sub-program that correlates with the national program, the brothers of the Mu Kappa Lambda chapter created Talk That Talk, public speaking forum. In the event, we hope that you learn the proper tools and tips to increase your skills in public speaking. Mastering the art of public speaking can unlock numerous opportunities and open many doors for you. Tonight, we will listen to a variety of guest speakers ranging from high school students, college students, and licensed educators. Throughout the program, questions will be asked to the panelists and gifts and prizes will be made available to the attendees. We thank our co-sponsors of Carbondale United, Carbondale Public Library, Carbondale Women's Center, and the So Ill Unity Coalition for helping us with coordinating the program. Without further ado, we will begin with our first presentation from Mr. Alfred McGowan. Alfred McGowan became a teacher after serving as a Marine. He is not only a teacher, but a coach, counselor, and a friend to those students who need it most. He is a reverend at Hopewell Missionary Baptist Church in Carbondale, Illinois, and is the Vice President of Education Chair of the Carbondale NAACP. Actually, he was Reverend of Morning Star Missionary Baptist Church in Murfreesboro. And now we will begin with his video.
Hi, my name is Alfred McGowan. I'm a teacher at Carbondale Middle School, and I'm just really saddened by the conflict in schedule that I could not be with you guys for Talk That Talk. But I just want to take a few minutes to talk about the power of public speaking. I want to encourage you to understand that you need to have some things in your tool belt to equip you to address the things that are going on in society. You have to begin by understanding your voice is important. Your voice is unique. Your voice is valuable. Your voice needs to be heard. With so many issues going on in this world today, and so many venues that they need to be addressed in city council, state legislature, county boards, school boards, public events, the federal level, all of these venues need to hear about your unique voice. Racism is based on inferior, superior. Because you are the great people that you are not inferior to anyone. You have to begin to understand that your voice is valuable. Your voice is important. So I want to take a few minutes to talk about some things you can do to equip yourself to be the very best public speaker that you can so that you can talk that talk and people can hear what you have to say. The first thing I'd encourage you to do is speak with passion. Have passion. Be excited. Be on fire about whatever it is, your cause, your social justice, whatever it is that you have. Speak with passion from your heart because it's the passion that convinces and convicts your audience about your stance. Your emotions are what make you. Don't try to downplay or don't let anyone cause you to downplay who you are. Your emotions are who you are. And so let your emotions come out in what you have to say. Use it for power so that you can be able to again convince and convict your audience the need to hear what you have to say. The second thing is poise. Stand up strong when you speak. Dress for whatever the situation is. If it's an address in the park, then you dress appropriately for that. If it's an address to the city council, then you dress appropriate for that. But stand up strong. Hold your shoulders back. Hold your chin up. Look people in the eyes. Look the part of someone that's important because you are important. Speak with poise. And in order to speak with poise, it sometimes takes practice. Speak in front of your peers. Speak in front of your family, your friends. Record yourself and go back and look at what you said. Are you making eye contact? Are you standing up strong? Your chest out, your shoulders back. Do you look like someone important as you address your audience? Do you speak with volume that the people in the back of the room can hear you? Practice, practice, practice. When you have a passion and you have something that you have to say, practice so your poise exudes itself from what you are talking about so that the people who are listening to you can say, that's someone important and I need to listen to them. The fourth thing is project. Speak up. Speak to the back of the room. And it's not so much that you have to yell, but you speak with that passion and you speak with that poise and you project your voice as you speak from inside of you to let it come out. Story goes of Frederick Douglass, a great orator in his time, would always address crowds, and before microphones, there was no amplification system. And Frederick Douglass could be understood from every crack and crevice of an auditorium. If you've seen the movie about Huey Newton, he would always address a gathering without a microphone because he would project his voice, and a lot of that because he spoke with passion. The fifth thing is persuade. Use your words wisely. You want to move your audience to see things your way. You want to use words that appeal to your audience. If you're talking to a group of young people, then you use words that appeal to them. If you're talking to older people, then you use words and be authentic in the usage of your words, because your vocabulary becomes so important that you can take a 50-cent word and find a $5 word, but you still convey the same message to the audience that you're speaking to. You want to persuade your audience that what you're saying is the most important thing that they need to hear. And then reach your audience. Reach into the heart and the mind of your audience by making eye contact. Most of the time we feel hesitant to make eye contact, and we talk about we're shy. But that stems from feeling inadequate. Again, I want to hasten back to you are greatness. So when you speak to people, you look them in the eyes. The old lore was that you shook someone's hand with firmness and you looked them in the eyes when you met someone. You didn't look down, you didn't look up, you didn't look away. And it's the same thing when you speak to an audience. You look them in the eyes. And let me give you a trick. If nothing else, you look at the hairline, you look at the forehead until you can get to the point of saying, wait a minute, what I have to say is important. I'm going to look them in the eyes, and I'm going to speak with passion, and I'm going to speak with poise, and I'm going to convince them to see things my way. Don't give up your power by looking up and looking down. I took classes in college that said, well, when you give a public speech, if you can't do anything, look at the clock. No, you take the power that is yours when you step into a room to speak and you look people in the eyes. You never give up your power because you're important. Speak and carry yourself as if you are, and you are, the MVP. You're the most valuable person in that room. And what you have to say means a lot. There's an old saying, and I've used a lot of P's, and I'm going to use another set. Prior preparation prevents poor performance. Again, I want to remind you, your voice is important. Your voice is valuable. Your voice needs to be heard on every level. You need to be able to convince and convict people to see issues from your perspective. Your words have power. Power to persuade people that you are correct. Power to convince people that your perspective on the issue is the most important perspective. And power to correct the wrongs. Talk that talk. Use your words so that people can see you're important. Hi.
Thank you for that video from Mr. Alfred McGowan. Now we will be moving on to the next portion. Nancy, would you like to see if there's anyone in attendee that deserves a prize?
I think that will actually be me. This is Liz Hartman. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am the Teen and Youth Librarian at Carbondale Public Library. If you have any questions about teen or youth events, you can get in touch with me. We are going to do our first prize giveaway, and I've got my random number generator here, and I've got my list of registrants and attendees. And our first prize giveaway is going to be going to Carl Flowers. Carl Flowers, thank you so much for joining us today. We will be sending out an email to everyone to arrange prize pickup. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Liz. Now we'll be moving on to our next speaker, Anthony Lacey. Anthony Lacey is a participant in SMASH Academy in a 3-year intensive STEM focused residential college prep program that empowers students to deepen their talents and pursue STEM careers. In 2014, Lacey played trombone and portrayed Barack Obama for Southern Illinois after-school program I Can Read. He is a junior at Carbondale Community High School and two-time essay winner for the Martin Luther King Essay Contest. Next, we will have Anthony Lacey.
Public speaking can 100% affect the way you live in a positive way. Public speaking can improve communications with friends, family, etc. It's also a great way to help soothe some social anxieties and help improve relationships with other people. Public speaking is something that everybody has to encounter in some time in their lives, whether it's for a job interview / job presentation, school play, etc. You do it at some point. Some people are better at it than others, and that leads to a lot more opportunities for them. When you're able to communicate with people and make them feel comfortable, people open up to you a lot more and learn to gain a sense of trust with you. That sense of trust leads to a lot more job interviews, relationships, and etc. When you're able to interact with people, things go way more smoothly, and things that you thought could never go your way start going your way. When I was 10, I had a huge problem with public speaking and would get really nervous and tense up anytime I had anything to say to a large audience. But like I've worked on it since then, and I can say from personal experience, and when it comes to life and being what I want to be, it's one of the most important, valuable tools to have. Many people don't like to deal with public speaking though, because they're afraid that they'll come off as awkward or make a fool out of themselves. But what I learned over time is that everyone makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect. Everyone goes through stuff that makes them feel like they're self-conscious about themselves. You just got to be able to put yourself out there, and many more things will hope for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony, for your words of wisdom. Liz, go ahead and take it away.
Sure. Before we go on to our second prize giveaway, I wanted to give the audience a chance to ask any questions that they may have. I do know that we had a question from the Zoom registration. Anthony, if you'd like to take a moment to answer that. We had some people wondering what challenges you have had yourself with public speaking and how you overcame that.
I learned to overcome my fear of public speaking by forcing myself to like go out and talk to people and like try to make connections and stuff like that to kind of help me out. And it decreased a lot of my social anxieties and whatnot. And I learned to be able to feel more comfortable with people and whatnot whenever I'm talking to them. So it's hard at first, but like you'll get over it. Everything will work out for you.
Thank you, Anthony. That is great. And before we move on to our next speaker, I will do our second prize giveaway. And I have my random number generator here. And the second prize will go to Don Davenport. Don Davenport, congratulations. Thank you for joining us. And we'll be sending you an email.
Our third speaker coming before you today is Miss Naomi Love. Naomi Love is currently a senior at Carbondale Community High School. She's had many experiences in the world of performance, including musical theater, improv, and speech. She plans on attending a four-year university, majoring in peace, justice, and society, as well as using her voice to advocate for the rights of Black queer women and other BIPOC individuals. Let's give this opportunity to hear Miss Naomi Love.
Hi, everyone. My name's Naomi Love. As Matt said, I'm currently a senior at Carbondale Community High School, and today I'm just going to talk to you all about some of the tips and tricks I've learned from public speaking, as well as how public speaking has really helped me amplify my voice as a young queer Black woman. So quick little backstory on me. I actually did not start off just with public speaking. I went the more performance route. So again, I participated in musical theater, improv, plays, and then into high school, I joined my school speech team, and that really helped me broaden just voices in general. And so I was able to learn a lot more about informational speaking. I've taken many classes with the high school as well as John A. So I have a pretty broad understanding of speaking for somebody of my age. So I'm just going to give you guys a couple of tips that I use whenever I go to make a speech or go to talk in front of people. And the first thing that I find that's been really helpful for me is I don't memorize speeches. I don't sit down and write a speech. I sit down and I think, okay, what do I want to say? What do I want the audience to get? And then I will make an outline of what I want to say. I will transfer that to note cards. I will stand in front of the mirror and I will practice that at least 10 times. I'll say it in the shower. I'll try different vocal intonations, and I find that to be so much more authentic, because at the end of the day, public speaking is just one big conversation. You can't be reading from a sheet of paper. Obviously, if you do need to memorize something, go ahead. But I strongly encourage you to take the time out of your day, print out that document, and take a pencil and basically mark places where you want to pause, mark places where you want to have an intimate connection with the audience, because you want the audience to walk away liking what you have to say. But if they don't like you as a person, they're not always going to be as open-minded. And so with that, I also say nonverbal cues are such a big part of public speaking. You need to be able to connect with people, whether that's smiling, eye contact, not fidgeting. But again, you want to really establish a repertoire with your audience. And then lastly, something that I really struggled with for a long time, especially being a Black woman in heavily white-dominated spaces, I never felt comfortable enough to wear my hair curly. The amount of heat damage I got from speech was ridiculous, like burnt hair everywhere. But I felt like I had to fit in to the spaces I was in, and that's not the case. Public speaking is for everybody. I didn't have to, form this ultra personality that wasn't me. And so I kind of want to segue into how public speaking has really helped me as a person. I think there are some questions about that. I might address it. But I love Carbondale Community High School, but it tends to be a very segregated school when it comes to extracurriculars. I was a band kid, a choir kid, musical theater kid, and I love it, and it's really helped me grow as a person. But I was in spaces that were for white kids, and usually there were only 2 other Black kids if I was lucky. So I would really police my speech, and I would police what I wanted to say because I wanted to win a speech tournament, or I wanted people to like me, or I wanted my white male teacher's validation. And that is not the case. I was given the gift of public speaking. I'm just naturally good at it due to my dad. Shout out to Cordy in the audience. But I was given this gift, and for the longest time, I didn't use it. I didn't talk about things that I wanted to, because passion is such a big part of public speaking. So I encourage you, talk about the things that you're passionate about, because if you're just talking about things that you really don't care about, what's the point? It sucks, but sometimes I'm the only Black queer woman in the room, so my voice matters. But I also have to understand how my voice will have to change at times. And that's messed up. I can't be too angry or else I come off as an angry Black woman, but I also have to be assertive. So I'm going to go to the questions real quick because there are so many good ones. Real quick. Okay, so have you been a part of, do you still struggle with? Oh, yes, hands down. I struggle with speaking as a Black woman so much because as a biracial light-skinned woman, I feel like I don't really have the space, and I don't want to take up the voice of another Black woman who can really, talk about issues like I can. But my dad is very cool, yes. But I have to, because I sometimes won't be talking about myself, but I need to help uplift voices of other Black women. So obviously, I code switch all the time, and I hate that I have to do that. But it's gotten to a point where I do feel confident in the way I present myself, and even if I am a little bit different than how I would be in another space, I do feel confident in this fact that I'm using my voice and I'm using it to advocate for people that wouldn't be able to. So, oh, musical theater has really helped me in public speaking. I mean, I have played animals, I played inanimate objects. So I'm a very loud, very boisterous person, and that really helps with public speaking. I'm pretty friendly, I would like to think. And so because of that, I'm very adaptable. Especially with like improv, I have always had, crazy things thrown at me. So I think that is a great part if you ever really want to start pursuing public speaking, whether it's going into government or going into public forum. Take an improv class, go to an improv show, because that's such a big part of public speaking, adapting to your audience. And, that's one reason I don't like writing speeches, because things might have to change. If I have an older audience, I might change some of my jokes because they won't get them. If I have a younger audience, I have to be able to, adapt to what the new slang is. But speaking, again, has really just impacted my voice. And for the longest time, I didn't speak about issues that I wanted to, especially in the classroom. I was an honors English kid, and that is the most widest space ever. But I needed to talk about issues about race. And even if I wasn't comfortable, and even if I wasn't in the right space to do it, that's how progress gets made. I don't know about law school. I'm not very confident in our current justice system, so I don't really know if I want to contribute to a system that is not the best. But yeah, thank you so much for the questions. I feel like I went over time, but thank you so much for listening, and public speaking, yay! Thank you.
Thank you, Naomi, for your portion. We greatly appreciate that. You did a phenomenal job. Liz, let's go away with the next prize giveaway.
Absolutely. So first off, I want to read a comment from the Facebook live stream. Naomi, I just want to let you know that Betsy says, proud of you. Thanks for sharing your knowledge and experience. And I just have to say, I am delighted to hear that musical theater has helped you in your public speaking. I myself hide in the pit to play the music for you. So works out for me, works out for you. Anyway, let's get to our next prize giveaway. Our next prize is going to go to Michael Harris. Michael Harris, congratulations. Thank you for joining us, and we'll be sending you an email.
All right. Our next presenter, and he's going to be introducing the next speaker, is Brother Eric Banks. Eric Banks is the president of the Beta Eta chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity at Southern Illinois University. Eric Banks has worked at Fox Valley Christian Action, which works with local ministry partners to provide opportunities to build lasting relationships with kids and families living under-resourced areas in the Fox River Valley. Without further ado, Eric Banks.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you. So yeah, that's me. I'm not gonna take up too much time here, but yeah, I am the current president of the Beta Eta chapter of Alpha Phi Fraternity Incorporated. We actually recently held the oratorical competition not too long ago, in which the winner of that competition is on this call. I'll be introducing her in a second. But yeah, I'm really loving this event so far. That's one thing I would like to point out. A lot of great tips and pointers. Naomi, you did great. One thing that I would like to touch on that you mentioned is the passion aspect of public speaking. I think that's a big part of it. I think when you care about what you're talking about, it helps with some of those jitters and things that you mentioned before. And practice makes perfect. Honestly, that's very vague statement that we hear a lot growing up. But very true, Anthony. You touched on that earlier. So yeah. Me personally, I've done like a decent amount of public speaking, and I can honestly, I'm just continuing to get better and better. Um, in terms of understanding how to control crowds and just relaxing and caring about what you're saying. So, and with that being said, the person that I am going to introduce, she is very big on passion as well, and she brings it when she talks. So I hope she mentions that. So I answer that question, how do you drum up passion on yourself? Um, to answer that question, I think you try to connect it any way that you can, um, or at least I would try to connect it any way that you can, right? So even if it doesn't affect you personally, um, if you know someone that the topic affects, right? I think you can bring that within yourself. So, but like I said, without further ado, I would like to introduce you guys to Miss Majesty Gunn.
Thank you, Eric, so much for your participation. We greatly appreciate that. You did a phenomenal job representing your chapter. And again, we are introducing Majesty Gunn. Eric, would you like to go ahead and read her slide?
I would. So, Majesty Gunn is a third year exercise science pre-DPT student at Southern Illinois University, Carbondale. She is a personal trainer and has her own business, Majesty Moment. Where she helps her clients work towards the best them by learning to love exactly who they are now, to work for them of tomorrow. At SIUC, she trains cancer survivors in the Strong Survivors program that shows students how to exercise and helps survivors, a program, cancer survivors. Majesty is also the president of a mentoring group that As We Climb. In her spare time, she writes poetry, works out, watches anime. Majesty is an advocate for healthy living and doing everything for the glory of God.
Hi everybody. Thank you so much for that. My are you hearing me? No. Yes.
I can hear you. You got a little bit choppy there on the video. I think you might have an unstable internet connection, but I can hear you, Majesty.
Okay, I'm gonna talk anyways.
Okay.
Hi. Okay. Well, yes, I did win the 2020 rhetorical competition from.
Oops, I think we are kind of struggling with Majesty's internet connection. Maybe do you guys want to go ahead and go on to Samuel Hawkins and then go back to Majesty? Just kind of do this out of order and maybe give her internet some time to catch up.
Yes, we can, because I definitely want to give her the opportunity to speak. Yep, she's texting me now. We'll come back around. So we'll go ahead and go to Samuel, like you said, and we'll come back. Samuel Snacks Hawkins was born in the Volunteer State, but raised in Kentucky. Influenced by jazz and hip hop to bring you a spoken word experience that will not only entertain, but will also make you think. Samuel has published 3 books of poetry. This Is Why Kids Want to Stay Up Late, The Greatest Story Ever Sold, and Every Day. From festivals, colleges, and conventions, Samuel has wowed and moved audiences across the nation. Samuel Hawkins, take it away.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity to share tonight with you. Like the bio said, I'm a spoken word artist, also an author, avid writer, trying to be an avid reader. Need to be. But anyway, I'm going to share a poem. And shout out to the anime watching. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is my favorite show of all time, across the board with anything. So shout out to that. But anyway, I'm going to share a poem rather, and then kind of break down my creative process, and also just presenting it and some of the tools you can implement within the public speaking realm that kind of coincide with spoken word poetry, because really it's monologues, the acting element, sometimes improvisation, all intertwined into one. So, but anyway, name of this poem is called Something for My Aunt. And then, yeah, I'll break it down a little bit after I get done. My family game nights rivaled the Rose Bowl. You know what I'm saying? It was never casual. Winning was always practical. Even when I lacked the tools intellectually to properly discern deals concerning monopoly real estate decisions. And I was only 8, and that first game of Monopoly is still pending, and I'm still grinning, sending my sister's warship Monopoly piece to jail while reading her chance card, telling my brother go fish even though I had the cards. It was hard to let go of those 2 threes like Granny's cooking on your Sunday plate. I wanted to win in the worst way. We would play rummy, gin rummy, AC doocy, trouble, trivial, pursuit, guess who, clue, connect four, four square, charades, catchphrase, and spades, my dude. Oh, no. Spades was holy at our kitchen table. Spades was scripture between our fingers. And everyone had the answers, and everyone was right, and everyone was wrong. Who's gonna win? Us and never them. Just ask my Uncle Dennis. Yo, losing never came easy for my family, but I did not learn this at our family game nights. I learned this at my aunt's funeral. Losing it never came easy for my family, and it never came easy for me. When that casket closed, the wounds on our souls were exposed like 2 sizes too small stiletto open toes. Uncomfortable. 2013, wrote a book. This is why kids want to stay up late. Open the cover. On the first page, you'll find my aunt's name, for Valoria, V, Aunt V. Breast cancer thought it took my aunt. She merely went home. Cancer may have destroyed her body, but some of those memories may have been hurtful, but the radiation treatments, the hospital visits, watching her wither, unable to care for herself, the scarf covering her head as her hair fell in love with the floor. She was still beautiful. And the pain and suffering my grandmother and cousin carried like a letter from the army to a soldier's mother during a time of war. I'm sorry, your daughter didn't make it home this time. I'm sorry, she didn't make it home. Yes, some of those memories may have been hurtful, but her soul still glows like a Jerry Curl commercial. Her name, Valoria, V, reminds me of hope, like the color purple. Yes, Alice Walker's wisdom is swimming between her teeth. She may have died, but never once tasted defeat. She is infinite throughout our thoughts, like God's heartbeat, an anthem of hope, like the vinyl version of Marvin Gaye's What's Going On, stuck on repeat. When I look back, I see a woman of service serving as a nurse for 20 years at Lourdes Hospital. She spent her last moments there. My father remembers and vividly recalls the moment she took her last breath. I still remember the couch in the hospital room where my grandmother slept, and like Jesus before Calvary, at that bedside, she prayed and she wept until the stars kissed dawn. She never left. I think she stayed there till the very end of her life. True story. My grandmother stayed in my aunt's house until she died, ripping for whispers for her daughter in the air. But when I look back, I see a woman of God. She carried more crosses on her back than a Roman execution squad. So when the back pains arrived, she thought it was business as usual. Not this time. My uncle, her brother Henderson, said, V, you should get that checked out. When she got back from Cleveland, she did. I was only in 8th grade, still just a little kid. It was hard for me to fathom. My aunt had less than a year to live, but if I did not learn anything, I learned this. It's not about what you lose while you're here, but about what you can give. I may have lost my aunt, but I can give you her story. So you may have lost a father, a mother, a grandparent, and not just like me, an uncle, a brother, a sister, or a friend, but you can give their story. See, God may have lost his son, but he can give us eternity. When I look back, cancer may have won that battle, but it won't win the war. Cancer may have won that battle, but it won't win the cancer may have won that battle, but it won't win the war. My aunt may have died once, but she'll live Oh yes, she will live twice. Yeah, thank y'all for listening to that poem. Oh, and the first thing I'm gonna say about it is, hey, thank you very much. I hope I don't run over time too. I'll try to be quick on this next part. Just breaking it down a little bit. But the first thing I say, like when you're, I guess, yeah, public, as far as about public speaking, is to use stories. I mean, even whether you're doing spoken word or oratory, but using stories, people connect with that and they can follow what you're saying and what you were feeling, and also just the ability to empathize and resonate. When you try to just go, what would you call it, like generalize, there's a type of dissonance you'll get from people. And sometimes they won't be able to even verbalize it, but they can just feel it. But if you're telling a story and being honest and just giving that real, people can resonate with that. When you're being specific, and even the details I was adding within the story and the poem I was giving you, like Lewis Hospital, when I was saying my uncle's names, like specifically Uncle Henderson, Uncle Dennis, and giving those specific details, you know, her working as a nurse and just the hospital rooms and the color and the imagery. When you're being, the more specific you are and narrowed down, people resonate with that a lot more. And I love that we kept hearing, I kept hearing about practice, because I have a poem that I used to share. Kids would ask me, how you remember all this poem rap stuff in your head? And the answer to that question was always like, hey, there's no secret ingredient, I guess you would say. It's just practice. Will give you constant progress. And whatever you practice, you will get good at. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. So if you lie all the time, yeah, you'll get good at that. So make sure you're practicing to be the person that you want to be. And that goes with your oratory performances as well. And then I'll share, yeah, let me give you like a practical thing about how I memorize. Is I just break it up into sections and like practice over and over and over, just focus on section by section and then just link it all together. It's a lot less daunting when it's like, oh, I got to do this whole 10 minutes or 5 minutes. But if you just break it up into parts, it really doesn't even seem like a lot, especially if you do like even 30 seconds to a minute at a time. And yeah, well, dang, I had another part. See, I don't want to go long. I'll do one last thing, is to definitely get guidance, get mentors, or a mentor at least, but not only a mentor, but also your peers and people giving you feedback helps tremendously, because it's all like I'm not sure who said it. I think it was, but it is definitely a conversation. So when you get feedback from somebody, you can kind of feel that flow, that they can give you guidance of where you need to adjust. But anyway, thank you for the invitation to come share, and thank y'all for listening to me. And I don't know if I had any questions here.
No, you don't have any questions, but you have a lot of comments. Diana Brawley said, as an aunt and a person from a family with multiple losses to cancer, Samuel, you brought me to tears, and that may be the best poem I've ever heard. Liz Hartman said, you are totally fine on time, Samuel, and thanks so much for sharing. Chris Harris said, awesome job, Sam Hawkins. Quincy Canty gave you a lot of hand claps.
Well, I appreciate y'all.
He said, good stuff, and thanks, Samuel. You're going to go down in the history books. Kids are going to be reading and analyzing your poems in English classes. Powerful. And we have another thank you, Samuel. And hold on. Oh, I do have a question. So the question, Samuel, would you be interested in serving as the Illinois poet
laureate
if that opportunity was offered to you?
Of course. I ain't gonna turn it down. May not get it, but I'll try.
Quincy said that was good, man. So I don't have anything else in the Q&A, just a lot of comments. Well, we thank you for coming today and helping us out. That was awesome as always, Samuel. And I
Yes.
look forward to seeing you in April.
Yes,
Yeah.
most definitely.
So again, Samuel, we want to thank you. Your words were very powerful and moving. Everyone felt heartfelt and continue to use your voice. Liz, would you like to go ahead and do the next prize giveaway?
Absolutely. And I just want to say thank you so much to Samuel for your powerful words. I don't think there was just one person that you brought tears to tonight, for sure. On to our next prize giveaway. I have the next random number selected here, and that will be Brenda Cowan. Brenda Cowan, thank you so much for being with us tonight, and congratulations, and we will send you an email.
All right, so now we're going to try this again. Coming before you today will be Miss Majesty Gunn, representing Southern Illinois University. Majesty, take it away.
Hello, everybody. I am so sorry for the technical difficulties. I am the Oratorical 2021 winner of the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated undergrad chapter here at the school. And so I'm going to say the speech that I did there and then talk about how speech impacts me and how it impacts you as a person. So the topic was, where do we go from here? Move past what is behind you, go after the bright future in front of you while allowing the greatness inside of you to produce a better tomorrow by keeping your eyes on He who is the greatest redeemer and friend. Did you know that African Americans are the #1 carriers of most health concerns in America when comparing ourselves to our white counterparts? Did you know that we as a people have gathered in the past at the church time and time again for most social developmental progress in the Black community? Did you know that there is strength in numbers, that there is warmth in togetherness, and answers to the questions that we ask now in our stories of the past? So where do we go from here? How do we know where here even is? And how do we get to the promised land we desperately seek and have been promised? Because I believe that here will always be here for us. And as a people, we don't move our place, we change how we move in that place, and how we present ourselves in this here may never change. We can see this through the laws, our upbringing, and our culture. Since we landed here many moons ago, we've adapted and tried to make this place a home. I believe these 3 points will allow us to better understand our here and how to go in it. Health, the Black church, and our stories of the past, or looking to the past. According to the CDC, African Americans ages 35 to 64 are 50% more likely to have high blood pressure than whites. African Americans ages 18 to 49 are 2 times more likely to die from heart disease than whites. And ages 18 to 64 in the African American community live at a 5% higher sedentary lifestyle than white Americans. All these health issues stop us from getting to the promised land. We as a people have to put an emphasis on bettering our bodies to be able to work at a healthier and less stressful lifestyle. To put in the work for change. Man in the mirror goes like this. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. So yes, systemic oppression runs very, very deep. But I'm asking you to not stop only changing the ways of politics in outer areas of change, that we constantly distract ourselves from inner change. We are better in this here when we can freely move without pain and worry of pills, which also leads to less money in the Black community. Our only movement cannot be a march, but it must also be planned movement, which is the textbook definition of exercise. We also have to add in healthier eating, choosing ourselves for the future generation, because obesity is generational. Habits are generational. I believe the best way to go in this here is increasing a healthier lifestyle. The Black church will always be a beacon of light for change in the African American community. From Minister Martin Luther King Jr. to my own father, Bishop Dwight Gunn on the west side of Chicago, we have to not let our roots that grow deep forget or become diminished. Because for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And when you serve something as great as that, you know all of our help can truly come from him. So even if Jesus is not your cup of tea, I know that the love for those teachings and programs and refuge in the Black church can greatly impact our here. While there are changes to be made, we cannot deny the social and economical impact that Black church can have to help us move towards a better future. The past, my last point. My great grandmother, the activist, Oscar nominated and strong Black woman, mother of 6 or 9, I can never remember how many uncles and aunties I have, is right now speaking to a community and still helping her community become better through seminars and speaking engagements. The quote you heard today at the beginning of this speech was written by the exercise scientist, great-granddaughter of Rosie Simpson, and poet. And it will be placed beside her in a mural in the South Side of Chicago. So her past impacted my future. And just like my past and your past and our future will impact our generations after us. We have to come together and not forget all the good in our own homes and not to forget to share them with each other to help us progress forward. So to answer the question, where do we go from here? I say this: we must not forget our past. We must become more health conscious, and we have to share our stories with each other to help us build a bond that is greater than one of ourselves. So thank you very much. That was the end of the speech. I was going to talk about also what speech means to me. Speech means confidence building. It means better progress towards a better community that I have impacted because of what I say to a crowd of people. I have been speaking since I was 14 years old, way younger than that because my dad's a pastor and I grew up in a church. So it had to talk a lot of times. But my real talking really came from spoken word in the program that I had in my high school. And from that program, I have talked downtown Chicago. I have done a show with over 500 people about 7 times. And I have definitely gained more confidence in myself. My speaking engagement skills have become better through my OralComm 101 class that I took at the Hampton University before I transferred to Southern Illinois University. And so speech really has gotten me farther than anything. Your voice will take you farther than most things. So truly use your voice and truly know that it impacts a lot of things because people, they remember what you say most of the time. If they don't remember it, they didn't want to. So make sure what you say has an impact on others. Thank you. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Hope I didn't take too much of your time.
You're fine. We do have some questions. It says, thank you for mentioning the effects of stress on health. What do you do to cope with stress?
Thank you so much for that question. To cope with stress, I work out, I watch anime, I read, I write, I pray. Number one, I pray. I also have this prayer box right here, and I take prayer requests all the time. And at the end of it, I rip it up and I give it to God. So that's my stress reliever. And to simply run, because that's very important to truly get out and run because of the physiological things that happen in your body. When you move your body, you can lower your stress levels. I was in class last week and it truly impacted me by it saying that working out has the same, but not, I don't want to say that it takes away the benefits of medicine and anything like that, but it greatly has the same type of impact. And plus with the medication, if you need it, and therapy, you are set to be greater.
Okay, the next question is, Majesty, can you tell us more about the organization you started and how your speaking skills come in handy with that endeavor?
Okay. I haven't started any organizations on this campus yet. I actually do have one coming out soon. Funny enough that you say that. But speaking, how has speaking impacted that? For me to not give up, because I am the president of Lift As We Climb. And I oftentimes talk in my group chat with the people and they usually don't respond, but it keeps me going because either way, my words are getting out and you can't say that I didn't give you the tools to be able to do something great. So it's taught me to truly just keep going. Somebody's going to listen at some point. Thank you.
Okay, this is a very important question. What is your favorite anime?
That is a great question. Best question all night. My favorite anime, that's really, really, really hard. But I'd have to say right now I'm watching One Piece. But my favorite, all-time favorite would have to be Naruto right now. It's just you gotta love the Leaf Village. You gotta love that can-do attitude. I want everyone to acknowledge me, so I gotta go with that. But I'm more of the rom-com animes. I'm not gonna lie to you. So yeah, Sinbad in the Seven Seas. That's my answer. Sinbad in the Seven Seas. Netflix. Watch it. Love it. You can overcome any wave. Thank you.
Thank you, Majesty, for your part. You did great. Everybody, this is exactly why she won. I don't even need to say too much more. Before we move on to our conclusion, Liz, would you like to offer another grand prize?
I would love to. And I first have to mention that I can only imagine that Majesty may be a fan of Orin High School Host Club. Mention the rom-coms. I see Naomi might like that one too. That's a fun one. Yes, yes. I do want to take just a second to thank everybody here today for presenting. This has been truly, truly inspirational. Thank you so much for your time and your words and your voice. The next and final winner of the prize giveaway is a little bit of a funny one. I think you all will recognize this last name, Cordy Love. Cordy Love. Congratulations. You are a prize winner. Thank you for being with us tonight, and we will send you an email.
Well, congratulations to Cordy. And well, everyone, I want to personally thank you all for attending this event tonight. We hope that it was insightful, informative, and leave you feeling inspired to use your voice. Thank you to our panelists for dedicating your time and providing an example for our listeners. To our co-sponsors of Carbondale United, Carbondale Public Library, Carbondale Women's Center, and the So Ill Unity Coalition, I thank you for your active participation and support of the event. To our viewers, now remember, when given the opportunity to speak, always use your voice, because you may be the difference in making a change for your community. On behalf of the Mu Kappa Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, I'm Matt Wilson. Have a good night.
Before we go, Liz, can you put up the flyer for our next event so we can share that right quick?
I would be more than happy to. Nancy, if you could please direct me to that. I am so terribly sorry. I don't think I have that information with me right now.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll skip the flyer.
Perhaps you can tell us about it while I go get that for you.
Okay. Well, yesterday in the mall we had Black Tuesday, and we gave out $20 of Black Tuesday money for anybody who came and did the questions. They were based on generational wealth. I'm sorry, and how, as an ally, you can help Black businesses, and what is the power of the Black dollar. And did you know that $1.3 trillion out of that, only 2% of that stays within the Black community? So we are going to have um, a webinar on invisible money to talk more about those subjects. And we will also be having wonderful prizes that we will give away. And that is on April 1st at 6 p.m. Look for the flyers on Facebook, on So Ill Unity Coalition, Carbondale United. Oh, there we go. And I hope you will join us for Invisible Money.
And you can register at carbondalepubliclibrary.org.
And now we can say goodnight. Thank you for staying on with me.
Yes. Sorry about that. Good night, everybody. Thank you again.